So we're glad to be able to give this opportunity to staff at the City of Hendersonville. I'm Scotty Bush, of course I'm the fire chief here in Hendersonville. And this program we're going to talk about today is comes at a good time, September, for Disaster Preparedness Month. Chris Gonzalez has been part of our community risk reduction team and has taught several of these classes throughout his tenure with us. We certainly feel like this information is going to be beneficial and something that you can use at home. Obviously, these things that Chris are going to talk about with some other staff today is things that you can practice at home with your family. And our department gears ourselves around safety and community outreach, and we certainly feel like this is also going to be a great program that we'll also put out to the community after we run through the wellness program. So appreciate the opportunity to be before you to teach and talk to you about this, and we'll see you all soon.
So hello, I'm Chris Gonzalez. I'm a captain with the Hendersonville Fire Department and been here for about 14 years. And like Chief Bush said, I have been with the community outreach stuff for quite a while. So it's something that's near and dear to my heart. Talking to you about emergency preparedness today. So we appreciate the city for reaching out to us and having us do this course, and we're excited to tell you guys more about it. So little things about why we're doing this. We hope that this helps prepare you be able to respond and be able to recover from any type of emergency disaster that happens in your home or work or school. There's a certain amount of, this can be really big, we can talk about this for hours, but we have about a short amount of time, so the scope that we're going to work with is we're going to do some discussions and some demonstrations about some things you can do today, starting today at your home to be better prepared for any type of emergencies that come. So, let's talk about hazards for a second. The hazards that we are exposed to here in Middle Tennessee, obviously severe weather is one of them. Weather is a daily thing for us, and so with that comes winds, comes flooding, comes tornadic activity sometimes. So how we respond to that is very dynamic at times. The other hazards that we are exposed to are fires, less serious like vehicle accidents, pandemic obviously. So those type of hazards are things that we're always on the lookout for, and there's a certain risk that goes with all of those hazards. So when we talk about risk, we have to identify how much do we want to spend or how much time do we want to focus on reducing the risk of these hazards, where it might not be worth it to spend $10,000 on a generator system to back up, for a power failure when we're only risking of losing $200 worth of food in our refrigerator if it all goes bad. So it's those kind of things that we talk about with our hazards and with our risk. And so the prepare portion of this, there's a lot of things that we can do on the front end of an emergency before it happens. Once the event happens, once the tornado hits, it's too late. You're behind the 8 ball then. Everybody is trying to go out for these same resources that you are. So if you do a couple of things, like get some water, some non-perishables, take a couple of steps as far as administrative, that type of stuff, you are going to be so much better to weather and recover from the impacts of those emergencies once they happen. So administrative. Let's talk a little bit about your insurance, making sure you have enough insurance, making sure you have the right kind of insurance, and that all the policies are up to date. And so what that is kind of doing an audit of your home, rental, auto, any type of insurance that you may need, going through your house, taking pictures of the stuff that you have, taking a video and walking through your house, and keeping that information not only just in your phone, because your phone might get ruined in the event as well, so keeping it in the cloud somewhere, possibly emailing it to yourself, so that way there's a record of it somewhere where you can log into it from any computer. Having enough cash on hand, that's a big one. If something happens and you can't get to the banks and the net is down and we can't use our credit cards, do you have enough cash to be able to operate? Documents, all of your important documents like wills, powers of attorneys, birth certificates, passports, all of that type of stuff. Where do you have those kept? Are they all in one central location, in a safe, in some sort of a fire safe box where you can easily grab it and go if you need to? And then how are you going to find out alerts when these things are happening? Most of us have some sort of alert system that our phone is going to let us know, but they also have weather radios. We also have different apps that you can sign up for They will tell you when an event is coming your way and how to be better prepared. So all of that discussion, all of that thinking is going to help you better weather the storm. So supplies. You can start this today. The next time you go to the grocery store, get some water, get some non-perishables. The rule of thumb that we suggest is that everybody has enough water and food on hand for 72 hours. The first 72 is on you. So how much water? Well, you need a gallon of water per person per day. So family of 4, you're going to need at least 12 gallons of water on standby. Non-perishable foods, whatever it is that you can do, pancake mix, soups, any kind of canned vegetables, all that stuff. Keeping them somewhere where hopefully you don't want to keep it in the garage, which is right next to a door, the door might get ripped open by the tornado, and then now all your non-perishables and water are out in the neighborhood with everything else. You want to keep these in a safe location. Other supplies that you can have, any kind of tools that you might need to take care of your utilities, any type of medications, all of that stuff. Anything that's going to be specific to you and your family, you need to know what that is and have enough to hopefully be able to take care of yourself for the first 72 hours. Yes. Okay, so we're here at Station 2 in front of Special Operations, and we've also got Engine 2 here to tell you a little bit more about the go kits that you can have, and as far as individual, couple-day, and family-style go kits, and some of the items that you might need to put in there to be able to sustain yourself in the event that a disaster does happen. So, right here, they have lots of different kits. This is one of those that you can buy, commercial type kit. There's lots of websites that sell these. Everything's already in it. You pick it up and they've got 3 days worth of stuff in there. You see there's a whole list of items that come in here. I would recommend, if you do go this route, these are nice. They're a little bit, there's a cost associated with these, but it's all in there, it's done. But if you do get it, something like this, be sure to go through it before the emergency happens. And so, because you'll see, this was a gift, and I have just kind of let this sit as it is for demonstration purposes, because when you get these, everything is bagged up and boxed up, and so you really need to make it specific for your family and what you're going to need. So go through, if you do go this route, they're nice because you can get everything all in one shot in one bag, but go through it and understand what you're getting into before the event happens. If you're going to put your own kit together, this is a layout of some of the different items that you could have. And so for individual, if you were, say you really embraced this preparedness, and just like back in March, something happens, tornado goes through Nashville just south of us. We're doing okay for the most part, but our neighbors just down the street, they need a lot of help. So you want to grab a bag and be able to go out there and help out as much as you can for a day or for a couple of days. And so the more self-sustaining you are, the better off you'll be able to help others. So you can grab a little camelback like this with a couple of pouches in here. Very useful. This has 100 ounces of water in it, and then you can take whatever you need to be able to sustain yourself for a day. So another thing is having a good set of boots, maybe some sort of a hat that you can keep the sun off yourself, but some water and food are kind of our two biggest things. So this is just a stripped down MRE. Doesn't have all the extra packaging on it, but it's some good calories, some granola bars and stuff. Whatever you need, for your diet to be able to get you through, just in case food doesn't show up. Okay, and so these are a few tools that you might be able to find useful while you're out there helping out. Utility knife, a couple of different pliers or channel locks to be able to shut off utilities. This is an electrical tester to test if there's down cable lines, down power lines, anything like that, to make sure things aren't energized. This is a good multi-tool. It's, instead of having to carry around a bunch of screwdrivers, this is just one thing. You can take it around, and one tool, 9 different uses. Definitely some flashlights, a little small powerful one, or a headlamp, so that way you can have both hands free. Extra set of sunglasses, a good waterproof notepad for whatever you might run into. This is this is from the Community Emergency Response Team program. This is a field operations guide that has all kinds of great useful information as far as how you can get out and help people out. If you want to learn more about CERT, feel free to look into that. It's a great program telling people about disaster preparedness. Other things that you can have in Middle Tennessee, you never know when it might rain, so a poncho is always good. Bandana is also helpful. Some paracord, light sticks, zip ties, some medic shears, duct tape, some sort of first aid, whatever you might need for yourself. Again, you got to make sure, be considerate of this. All this stuff does fit in here, but little first aid kit maybe for you, or maybe just a little bit, and then also some medical gloves if you do need to help anybody keep their bodily substances off of you. And so for a 3-day pack where you might need to go and be gone for an extended period of time, not just like a 1-day pack type thing, something like this where it's a little bit bigger of a compartment works great. You can take everything that you've got in this 1-day pack and you can put it right into this one. And so it fits right in there, but if you've got some more compartments, and you can have a couple of extra things in there to be able to sustain you for a few more days. And so things that you might have in your 3-day pack would be skivvy rolls, something like this, where you've got t-shirt, underwear, socks, a few of those wrapped up in plastic bags. It helps keep it compact and waterproof. Maybe some more bug spray, some baby wipes are crucial, a couple of 2-way radios for you and the family or whoever that you might need to communicate with in case cell phones are going bad or batteries are starting to die. Some backup batteries are also very helpful in that situation. Some more flashlights, binoculars perhaps. Trash bags are always great. Doubles as ponchos as well as whatever else you might need to put in there. Maybe a bigger first aid kit, something not quite this big, but a little bit more detailed than what you have in just the 1-day kit. Again, it's whatever you need for you and your family, specific to your family. Medications, any type of daily vitamins, that kind of stuff that you take. And again, plenty of water too. This type of thing, you'd also want to bring like a case of water or a couple more gallons of water for something like that. And then here, this is a family style where you have a tote that you could have for whoever knows how long you're going to have to get by. And some of the things that you might want to consider with this is be realistic with yourselves. What kind of family are you? Are you going to head for the hills? Or are you going to head for the Hilton? Is this something that you just need enough to be able to get you from here to Aunt Jane's house up in Indiana and be able to get you by for a few days. So a few more things that you could consider are like a bigger hygiene kit with lots of toothbrush, toothpaste, everything that you need for the family, all kinds of personal items in there. Again, a bigger first aid kit. This is an example of MREs before they get stripped down like that. So they come packaged like this, and you can have all of this excess. You can take it out of there, and so when you have the strip down kit, you have all of your calories and nutrients here, and not all the extra packaging there. Some more examples of non-perishables that you could have not only in here, but then stockpiled at your house, the gallons of water that we had mentioned, something like this, pancake mix, just water in that. Kids love pancakes, soups, peanut butter, all of this kind. You guys know what non-perishables are, but this is just some examples of whatever you need in your tote. And again, we talked about the important documents, the administration stuff. You can grab that fire safe and the fire safe container with all of your important, wills, passports, that kind of stuff, and throw it all in here, grab it, and go. So, a couple of examples. The biggest thing is start doing this stuff now, because if you are going to be effective during a disaster, all of this stuff is a lot easier to find right now than after the event happens, and it's much harder to find afterwards. And then a little bit more about mitigation. So the tools that I mentioned, that is your utilities. How are you going to shut off your gas, your water if you need to, if something's happening? If you're having an electrical issue, do you know how to shut your power off? Do you know where your power is? Do you have natural gas? Do you have a propane tank? All of that kind of stuff. The more work that you can do now before in a non-stressful situation, the better you're going to be before that event happens. So for the water shut-off demonstration, we wanted to show you This is a great example of what a residential water shutoff or water meter looks like. You'll have some sort of a cover over here, and usually there's a lot of mud, dirt, leaves, grass, kind of overgrown and caked in here. So this is why it's important to find these before the emergency happens, because a lot of times you'll need to kind of clear this stuff out. And so Jacob will demonstrate this notch right here. That's where you will stick a screwdriver or some sort of tool in there, some pliers, to pull that up and out of the way. And now they have a wire that's attached to these meters a lot, so people can read the meters from the street. But inside here, you'll see this. Travis, if you'll point out that dial, where that dial is right there, that is in parallel with the pipe, that is the shutoff. So that's what you're looking for. And Jacob, if you will demonstrate on how to get down in there. It's a lot harder to do this with hand tools because you've got to kind of get at a weird angle. It's never just right. And in order to turn it, you'll see the dial is running parallel with the pipe right now. And so you've got to turn it 90 degrees to get it perpendicular to shut the water off. And a lot of times these things haven't been turned in decades. So especially if it's an older neighborhood, so you're having to mess around with getting the right angle, getting the right size. This is not the time to be figuring out how to do this, is when you've got water flowing out from underneath your sink or in your basement or attic. So these tools can get it done, but this water key right here we wanted to demonstrate. We carry these on the fire engines, and you can get these pretty accessible. This makes it a lot easier. You can do it from a standing position. You go in there and just turn it, and they're still, even from, you can see Travis is having to strain a little bit. They're not an easy turn. So water, it's okay to turn on and off. Doesn't really affect what's going on inside your house. When we show you the gas demonstration, we want to stress, you're going to hear this several times. If you turn your gas off, do not ever turn your gas back on. Make sure you have a professional turn your gas back on from the gas company or somebody that's there to service the lines. So that was a quick down and dirty on how to turn your water off. Find it first, turn it off, cover it back up. Good to go. So we're up here at Station 6 now, up on the east side of the city, and we've got Mike Megan and his crew right here with us, Kyle Esky, Trace Lawson, and Joseph Richmond, and they are going to tell us a little bit about shutting off gas and electrical. So, Mike, if you would be so kind, just tell us a little bit about your gas problem.
We're going to walk over to our gas meter and we'll show you a few things about it. Gas meters can be somewhat complicated. They don't have to be. The easiest way to figure them out is to just kind of look at the pathways of the lines coming into your meter. You're always going to have a line that's going to come up out of the ground. Your meter's going to be near the house also, so the lines are close to be able to feed in. So this isn't going to be somewhere out in your yard. It's going to be usually on a corner of your house or on a wall of your house, very close to the house. But your main line is going to come in, it's going to feed the meter. You're going to notice a shutoff here. When this is open, this cutoff place right here is going to be going up and down, and you're going to notice that your locks are going to be open. If this was closed, this would cross the line, and these holes would line up. If the gas company were to shut off power or service, they'd be able to lock it out with a lock. But when they're open, they're going to look like this. To shut them off, when we're in the field, we use a key like this. You know, we can turn it on and off with a water or gas key. The things that you may have at your house handy would be a crescent wrench or a set of channel locks to get on this. You're just going to turn it a quarter turn to get that to shut off. I'm not going to turn it off because once we turn gas off to a house, and definitely as a homeowner, if you shut off service to your house, do not turn it back on until the gas company comes to check your system to make sure everything's okay. We don't want gas going back into a house or becoming operational if there's some damage inside that we don't know about, because the potential is there for your home to fill with gas and create a hazard. So if you do have to shut off your gas to your home, leave it off until somebody comes out to check it to make sure it's okay to open it back up. Just a few things on this, because our system's a little elaborate, and the one at your home may be as well. You'll notice there's another shut off here. And on the metered side of this gas meter, this is the gas that we pay for. It comes out of this side. It comes up, goes up this pipe, and in our station, this feeds our water heater and it feeds our heating furnace, rather. So that's what this line does. This line over here, if we were to shut this off, this would cut off the feed that goes over to our generator. We have a gas fuel generator over here that will run the station in the event of a power outage. And we have another line, the small line, that comes off of here and goes to our gas grill over on the side of the station. So if we just needed to shut off the line to the generator and the grill, we could turn this off. If you have any doubt, shut them both off. If you're needing to shut off your gas in an emergency, shut them both off. But this one right here will kill everything that we have. And I hope this has helped you figure out how to shut off your gas.
And so I just wanted to take another minute to talk a little bit more to the generators, because this is something that a lot of people will do. They have generators for their house, and now this is a permanently installed natural gas generator for this fire station. This generator will power the whole station for as long as we've got natural gas running. Most of the times in a situation like this, you will have a generator that's powered by natural gas. Again, you can see the shut off right here. It's parallel in line. If we were to turn this off, just take it, turn it a quarter turn so that valve is perpendicular, gas is off to that. But the natural gas system is much more durable than electrical because mostly it's all in ground. So even when electrical power is off, we still have natural gas. And this is done right. This will power that whole station. However, a lot of homeowners will have a little generator that they backfeed into their electrical system in order to provide power for a couple critical things like refrigerators and whatever. If you're going to do a generator for your house that is not a professionally, privately installed, permanently installed version, make sure you do the research and figure out how to do it the right way, because there is a risk of backfeeding power into the power grid. And or also if you don't have it vented properly, like if you have it in your garage or something like that, there's a lot of hazards that come from carbon monoxide, from, like I said, backfeeding electrical into the system. So generators are great. They keep the meat and ice cream from spoiling, but however, if you're going to go that route, just make sure you do it right and do your homework on it.
Okay, let's talk about electrical power for a minute. One thing that helps everyone out tremendously is to learn where your panel boxes are and how your house is fed electrically before an emergency happens. So get familiar with where your electrical panel box is. Usually this is going to be in a garage or utility room, and if you're having difficulty finding it, one of the quickest ways to find it is trace the lines that are feeding your house, and you'll see where the electrical comes into what's called a weatherhead. Usually where that ties into your house is a good indicator of where your power is. The only exception to this is newer homes that are fed underground. It's a little harder for us to tell from the exterior where it is. But if you look around your house, you'll find your panel box. It may be in a laundry room, utility room, or the garage. Let's talk about what your panel box might look like. It's probably going to be a smaller panel box, similar to this, and you'll have individual breakers up here. Most of these are going to be 15 and 20 amp breakers, and they're going to go to small circuits of about 10 outlets apiece. And if you need to flip off an outlet or you have a problem, these should be labeled and marked, which these are. And if we had a problem with something inside, we could figure out which circuit it was on and go directly to the breaker and flip it off to kill and isolate that circuit. You are also going to have a switch. This is a sub panel, and this is a larger structure that we're in right now. So this panel box is going to look a lot like the one you have at home, but yours is going to have a shutoff up here at the top that's going to look like this, but a little bit smaller. And that's where you would shut off the main power to your house. That'll shut off everything to the panel box and all of those breakers without having to flip them off individually. If you're having a problem with, say, your stove, your water heater maybe, your air conditioning unit, or your dryer, those are going to have larger breakers. And I'm trying to find you one. It'll be a double, and I thought we had one in here, but it'll be a double. It'll be a larger breaker. And again, they should be marked by your electrician, or you could go through and isolate and find out, you know, if you flip the larger breakers, what it turns off, and you could label that and get that figured out yourself. But the key to all of this is to do it before you have an emergency. If we know where your panel box is, or we know that the power's already shut off to the box when we get there in an emergency, then that's all the much better for everybody.
So, moving out of the prepare into the respond. Plans and rehearsals. So planning is great. Talking about what you're going to do, where you're going to go when an event happens, whether it's a fire, whether it's severe weather, are we going down to the basement, are we in a third-story apartment, are we going down to our neighbors, down on the first floor, what is the plan, what are we going to do? That's great, but that's only the first part. You need to practice too. You need to do your rehearsals. That is where you find the holes in your plan, like, oh, okay, well, this isn't going to work, or this didn't happen like we thought it would, and that's how you adjust your plan so that you can do it. And of course, you can't plan for every emergency that's going to happen, but if you take a few general steps to, okay, if this happens, we're going this way, if that happens, we're going this way, you think things out. And so with your situation, say you have a second-story house where you have several bedrooms on the second floor, if there's a fire in the hallway, what's the plan for going out those second-story windows? Are you above a roof line where you can step out onto the roof, or are you directly above a two-story drop out to the driveway in concrete? So do you need maybe a rescue ladder to be able to drape out the window? If you get one of those ladders, have you practiced deploying it? So that's all the kind of stuff that we talk about rehearsing your plan. Plan is great, you gotta test it. Know a little bit more about the utilities. I won't spend a bunch of time on this because we're going to demonstrate this for you at some of the other fire stations. But if you take the time to figure out where your gas or propane shutoffs are, where your water shutoff is, where your electric stuff is, when you're in a stressful situation, your sink is broken, your pipes are breaking, and there's water pouring out at so many gallons per minute, that's not the first time that you want to be trying to figure out where your water shutoff is, what kind of tools you need to shut it off. So the more you can do now before the event happens in a non-stressful, non-time constraining environment, the better off you'll be when it actually does happen. And then sheltering in place. This is a thing that we don't spend a lot of time talking about, but it's a very important thing. So there's all kinds of hazardous chemicals and hazardous materials traveling up and down these roads and railways, and if these events happen where a wreck or a crash, and it might not be directly in your neighborhood, but the freeway 100, 200 meters behind your neighborhood is, and the wind can carry that stuff over, you might get people coming around telling you to protect in place. So read up a little bit more on that. It's basically you shut everything down, you get off the streets, you stay inside, and you weather whatever is coming at you from inside. So a lot of people will, when they hunker down when a hurricane is coming at them, that's protecting in place. They board up their windows, they weather the storm, they're in place. So just some more while you're looking into this, wanted to make you aware of that as well. And then moving into the recover portion. Like we said, the more that you do here is going to help this so much more. The old saying that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure is 100% true in emergency preparedness. The more steps you take to learn about and to learn how to handle the events that are going to happen around you, the better you're going to be in this area. Once the event happens, it's too late. You're going to be going for all the same resources that everybody else is, and it's going to be very difficult. Just think about the people that had plenty of toilet paper before the coronavirus hit us. So there are a ton of online resources out there for you to look at. The HFD website, we have a code red alert system that will tell you about severe weather coming your way or traffic incidents in your area, so that is a great resource that we recommend people sign up for. There's other, like FEMA has the ready.gov website where you can learn all about individual preparedness and business preparedness. redcross.org, that's another great resource. So, and these are just a few things. The internet is full of resources out there, so please, if you're interested in this, check it out. This is really just an awareness level right now. We're going to show you a little bit more demonstrations about how you can take some steps at your house to better prepare for responding to these emergencies. Okay, so we're here at Station 3 with Zach King. He's one of our newest firefighters, and this is the home of Engine 3, Truck 3, Medic 3, and we've got a battalion chief here as well. So here we're going to talk a little bit more about fire extinguishers, fire safety, and then we'll do a CPR demonstration in a moment. But first thing, biggest thing with fire safety is detectors, having the right detectors, working detectors in place. They have, the state of Tennessee has a program now. We give free fire detectors, or free smoke detectors. We will come to your house and install them for you if you don't have working smoke detectors. So there's no reason why any family should not have working detectors in their house. A lot of times we make calls for these things just beeping, that annoyance beep. People have already changed the batteries in them. If you take them down, if you've changed your batteries and they're still beeping, a lot of times people don't know there's a 10-year shelf life on these, so the detector itself might be bad. So that's something to consider, just a little bit of free advice there. But smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, all that stuff is a great thing to have before the emergency happens. Once a fire happens, it's too late to go out and buy a smoke detector. So, I mean, you can always do it for your next house. But now, if you are awake and a fire happens, say in the kitchen or wherever, and you have really prepared yourself and you've got a good working fire extinguisher, like this one here, you can see this is a good ABC fire extinguisher, so this will put out all different kinds of fires. A is for normal combustibles, B is for flammable liquids, so like a grease fire in your kitchen, and C is for electrical equipment. So this will put out any one of those kind of fires. Now this is a commercial type extinguisher. You wouldn't need all of this for your house, but you can see this has the inspection date tag on it, the service tag, but the parts of this extinguisher are the same for the one that you're going to have for your house. We've got the canister that has all the extinguishing agent in it, the hose, and then the activator level right here. So it's really basic to use one of these. We use the acronym PASS. You pull the pin, aim the hose at the base of the fire, squeeze the handle, and sweep it back and forth until the fire is out. PASS. Pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. It's as simple as that. Zach here is going to demonstrate how to do that with the use of our visual aid here. We've got this nice little training prop, the fire department. So, Zach, as soon as that gets fired up, show them how it's done. Great job. So, you see, if you've got the equipment already and you've gone through the motions and you've taken a little bit of training, it's really easy to keep a small problem from becoming a really big problem. If you have a fire that starts and you're able to put it out in a couple of seconds versus a couple of minutes by the time it takes us to get there, think of all the damage that you're going to save being done to your house and property. So, that's a little bit on fire safety. Again, if you've got any questions, need to know anything more, there's a wealth of resources online, or feel free to reach out to us anytime to learn more about this stuff. So for CPR, I'm here with Yurka Kauer, another one of our firefighters, and we're going to demonstrate hands-only CPR. Now this is just if you happen to be out at dinner, or you witness somebody go down, or you come upon somebody that's lying there and does not look like they're breathing, does not look okay. A couple of quick things that you can do to hopefully intervene there and maybe help give them another chance. So this is one of our CPR dummies that Yurka's going to be demonstrating on. You're at a restaurant, you see somebody go down. You run up, hey, can I help? Nobody's doing anything, so look, listen, feel. And so go ahead and demonstrate, look, listen, feel. You're looking for any rise and fall of the chest. You're listening with your head to see if you can hear.
Listen, feel.
Feel any breath coming out, and he's also checking with his fingers on the carotid right there to see if you can feel any heartbeat, any pulse there. So
if it's in a restaurant, I would probably open the mouth, look for choking, possibly.
So if you don't see any signs of choking, there's no heartbeat, no sound, no breath sounds, he's immediately going to say, hey, call 911, or pull his phone, call 911 himself, and he's going to start hands-only CPR. So just like he's doing right here, push hard and fast in the middle of his chest at about this rate. And you see how hard he's pushing, how hard this table's moving? You've got to do that. The hard truth is you're probably going to hear some ribs cracking, some cartilage popping when you're doing this, if you're getting good, accurate compressions. And so you do this until something changes. Either they start doing different, you have a pulse, or 911 arrives and the professionals are there to take over and help. That's great, thank you. Another thing is, you can go for a while at this, and it can wear you out after a while because that is a physically exerting. So somebody else might have to come in and take over because it's going to take minutes before a professional rescuer gets there.
Hello, my name's Wesley Patrick. I'm the training officer here at the Hendersonville Fire Department. And I'm going to help out with the infant CPR and choking. So one of the things you'll find out is that the leading cause of infant death is through something that's happened to their airway. It may be, and often is, they're choking on food or they're choking on some kind of object. So whenever you see a baby that's in that situation, I mean, it's going to kind of be hard to tell because babies aren't talking all the time, right? But they're usually doing things that you have seen before, and then when they start doing something that just doesn't make sense, you get worried, you go over and check them. They're not making vocal sounds at all. They look distressed, maybe their color is changing. And then you're going to want to do something about it before it gets worse, before that situation changes to something worse. So right now we're going to look at choking and how the steps that we handle that. So notice that Yurka is supporting the head at all times, and that he's got two options that he's going to go between, and that is back blows and chest thrusts. So if you'd like to do that a couple times.
We're going to expect the mouth, make sure there's nothing in there. I'll support the face with the head. Do back downwards. Flip over.
Now realize the baby is still moving at this point, and this is very effective. If you learn this technique, there's a really good chance that this baby's going to be just fine within seconds. So people don't always call 911 at this point because this right here, this works like high percentage of the time. But at any time when the baby goes limp, that means there's no air going in, at least not enough to support life. We're going to immediately get 911 going. We're going to get that going, even if we have to get our own phone out and call. And then we're going to go into standard CPR with one exception, and that is we're going to check the mouth to make sure that the baby's something hasn't come up from the airway. Now Yurka's going to continue doing this until someone comes along with more expertise than him, or until the ambulance arrives. And he'll just keep going and going and going, but he's still going to be checking that airway occasionally. Maybe it'll come up. If he knows how to do breaths, he'll also be doing breaths at this point, but you may not know how to do that, and that's okay. Just keep doing the heart. The heart is the most important thing. All right. That's good. So if at any time you do see something in the mouth, and you're capable of getting your fingers in there and getting it out, then you want to do so right away. I believe that's it.
Okay, so to review everything that we went over, we talked a lot about preparedness, response, and recovery, a little bit about recovery. We hope you got some good stuff out of the demonstrations that we did. We appreciate your time. Please, if you have any questions on any of this, feel free to reach out to the fire department. Look at some of these resources out there. There's a wealth of knowledge out there. And if you can do anything, go get yourself some water, some non-perishables. Just start today. Get some stuff stacked up. The more you do today, the better you're going to be down the road. And again, we appreciate this opportunity to teach the class. And thank you guys, and have a good day.